How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe and drop a 5-star review if you enjoy the episode on Apple and Spotify. We appreciate that very, very much. But today we're talking about what could be the Matt Carpenter of the 2023 season and Franchy Cordero. Franchy has been a force of nature for the Yankees over the first couple of games. He's only played 6 games, and he has a home run in half of those. He has 3 homers and 10 RBIs. We're going to discuss his impact, what he's done for this team so far, the pace he's on, and where we kind of see his value lying as the season unfolds here, especially when Harrison Bader returns. But Ryan, before we dive into the good stuff, how you do today, my friend?
I'm doing great. And, Franchy Cordero, when we brought him in, it was really just like a last-minute signing. Jeff Passan tweeted out of nowhere. There were no rumors. The Yankees were kind of like, there were reports the Yankees were going to make a move, but it was supposed to be a reliever. There was that weird off day after opening day where no one really knew what the Yankees roster move was going to be. They knew they were going to get rid of Florial. They didn't know what the bullpen was going to look like. And then out of nowhere, Franchy Cordero becomes a New York Yankee. Kind of like with Matt Carpenter. Out of nowhere, Matt Carpenter became a New York Yankee. And Franchy Cordero has taken full advantage of this opportunity. He is absolutely crushing. He kills right-handed pitching. He has kind of been perfect for this team in terms of just being someone the Yankees can throw in the middle of the lineup or in the bottom half of the lineup and give them some power. He has 3 home runs and he leads the team in RBIs. That's like weird. Like that's just, you have Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge. It's like they're off to bad starts. Like Stanton and Judge are hitting well. Rizzo's hitting well. Glaber's on a different planet right now. And some guy just shows up out of nowhere who's been DFA'd by the Red Sox, cut by the Baltimore Orioles, and ends up on the New York Yankees. And now he's the main run scorer on this team. He's hit some big home runs too. Like the first one he hit against the Orioles. Yes, the Yankees lost that game, but it brought the Yankees right back in after a poor start from Schmidt. That second one he hit against the Orioles was insurance. The Yankees went on to win 4-2 had Cordero not hit that home run. I don't know what happens in extra innings. I don't want to know what would have happened in extra innings. I'm glad that was just a 4-2 comfortable win. And then this one against Cleveland, right? The Yankees in that first game against the Guardians, they had Shane Bieber on the ropes. It's not like they didn't have Shane Bieber on the ropes. They just couldn't capitalize. And Franchy Cordero was not going to settle for just a nice little sac fly or a nice dinky single. He wanted everything. He went out and hit a 3-run home run, blew the doors wide open, helped the Yankees knock out Hunter Gaddis early, got to that Cleveland bullpen, and set the tone for the rest of the game. Garrett Cole gave up 2 runs at the bottom of that first. Now, you can argue that ball to Torres was an error and not a single, but that's not the point here. The point is that Cleveland set the tone early, and Franchy Cordero just punched him right back in the mouth, right? And that's something that the Yankees needed from the bottom of the lineup. Just someone that can occasionally run into one and just punch another team in the mouth. Is Franchy Cordero going to sustain this all year? Absolutely not. But can he go out there and can he give you, finish the year with like 10 home runs, like a 110 WRC plus? Absolutely, right? And as a part-time player, as a part-time outfielder on a team that's had struggles from guys like IKF and Hicks, who are expected to be depth outfielders, this is huge for the Yankees. When Harrison Bader comes back, I know that there's going to be a roster crunch. I know it's going to be weird. Like, what do you do with Cordero? What do you do with Hicks? What do you do with IKF? I'm sorry. You send down Cordero, you're going to have some real problems, not just with the fan base. I don't think the locker room's going to like it very much, right? He's mashing. This team needs left-handed bats, and Cordero is giving the Yankees a lot right now.
That is absolutely factual. Franchy Cordero, look, the Baltimore Orioles, don't know what they were thinking when they let him go, but the Yankees ended up cashing in there, and he's hitting 286, basically a 35% on base rate. He's slugging 762 with a 200 WRC plus. Now, Franchy isn't known for his defense, and he's got an okay arm. He's kind of inaccurate with it. Sometimes he gets lucky, and he just beams out players at second base trying to extend it there. But most of the time, he's not going to do much for you defensively. He's a fine, defensive outfielder when it comes to just catching the ball, but he's not going to make very athletic plays. He's more of like a raunchy kind of statue. But when you look at his bat, and the way that Aaron Boone described it was he has easy power, right? He doesn't even look like he's putting much power into his swing, and the thing just freaking launches. Absolute piss missiles this guy is producing. So, you love to see him kind of extrapolating on that right now and using that power to his advantage because it's obvious, right? His numbers up to this season only has a 33.3% hard hit rate, but he has a 20% barrel rate right now, 3 barrels, which is ridiculous. His max exit velocity 112.8, and that's not even close to his career. His career max exit velocity is 118.6, and he's up to 88.2 on the average right now. So you're looking at that power. That's where he's going to make an impact. The thing is, if he's not hitting home runs, his value isn't going to be very, very high. He's only walking at an 8.7% clip. So if the power isn't shining through, It's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees utilize him. But for now, got to keep rolling with the hot hand. He's batting fifth today. They're really, hoping he can continue to hit the baseball well and get it over the fence here. But do you think this could be a situation where he remains? Like, if the Yankees have to decide, right? You have Harrison Bader back, Stanton's health, you got Judge, you got Oswaldo Cabrera, and you're looking at IKF, Hicks, and Franchy. Are you starting Franchy over IKF and Hicks?
Yeah, no question. That's not a question to me, right? Here's how or at least in my head, this is how I evaluate players and who I evaluate on my roster, right? Number one is your ceiling. How good can you be, right? Like, what is your ceiling? What is your peak? Like, what is your absolute best possibility outcome, whatever? IKF's is definitely lower than Franchy Cordero's. I don't know if it's lower than Aaron Hicks's is significantly lower, just because we've seen years in the past. Like, Aaron Hicks has had better years than Franchy Cordero's best years. So I'm not going to say that his ceiling is significantly higher than Hicks, but you can argue after the severe injuries that Hicks has suffered in that time span, that Hicks probably can't get back to that point. And then number two, who's the hot hand? It's Franchy Cordero, right? And what does this team need? Offense, right? This team has hit well to start the year. A lot of that has to do with Franchy Cordero. If you look at their high leverage WRC plus, it's 138. That's really good. They're hitting 30% better than the league average team in high leverage. A lot of that has to do with Franchy Cordero. I can tell you right now, Franchy Cordero has hit at least 2 big home runs to the New York Yankees, right? So, I personally think that has to count for something, right? So, if he's giving you offense, you're riding the hot hand. You can't, if you send down Franchy Cordero and then Bader goes out and you call him up again, you don't know if he's going to be, ready to handle major league pitching again. Don't mess with a good thing, right? You don't have to overcomplicate this. No disrespect to IKF, no disrespect to Aaron Hicks, but they're not playing at the level that Franchy Cordero is right now. If spring training can determine a shortstop job, why can't the regular season determine who should get more reps? It's not like Franchy Cordero's coming off of a bad spring training either. He tore it up in spring training. I was shocked that the Orioles just kind of let him go, because personally, I wouldn't have let go a guy like that, right? When Willie Calhoun had a really good spring training, a lot of people were stunned that he didn't make the roster. Franchy Cordero had a better spring training. He hit 400. He slugged like 700. He was having an unbelievable spring training, right? So, end of the day, we don't need to give reps to guys who don't deserve it or haven't earned it, right? Again, I don't want to dog on IKF. I don't want to dog on Hicks, right? A lot of people have said their criticisms about them. I think it's very clear how we feel about them as baseball players, right? I don't need to beat a dead horse, but again, the Yankees outfield depth, it isn't bad. It's just that it needs Franchy Cordero more than it needs IKF and Aaron Hicks. Now, can you fit 2 of those 3 guys? Yes. I think you could have one of IKF and Hicks alongside Cordero, because Cordero cannot play center field. He plays left field. He plays right field. But that's still like you need to get rid of 1 or 2 of those 2 guys before you get rid of Franchy Cordero. Now, there's still some time left. I think Bader's about a week or 2 away. So, let's say in a week or 2, Aaron Hicks, hits 2 home runs and, he brings his numbers up and Cordero slows down. That's obviously going to change the answer. But so far, based on the information we have, Cordero's number 1 on that power ranking of the 3 kind of question mark outfielders when Bader comes back.
Absolutely. But guys, I'd love to hear perspectives below in the YouTube comments about Franchy Cordero, your thoughts on him. Definitely a really exciting player for this team right now, and one that continues to get opportunities and reps. So hopefully continue, mashing for us, because that value is certainly there, and he's a very cheap player for what we're getting out of him. So certainly a really good move there by Brian Cash. I want to give him the credit there. The big ones, the big acquisitions haven't panned out very often, but the small ones, the little gems that he finds, are certainly very valuable and do make an impact on this team. And as I said before, make sure to like and subscribe as always. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.